WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's Selhurst. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football, and welcome back to another episode of TACT-EAGLE. This one is going to be for Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest at Selhurst Park. Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm all good. You know what? I'm looking forward to this game, to be honest, because obviously had a fantastic, it hasn't quite sunk in yet, but a fantastic result a few days ago. And I think it's going to be one of those games that, you know, even if it is a bit of a drab, say 0-0 or something, I think people are just going to be buzzing because obviously we'll have a more important game in a couple of weeks. But yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Not sure I've fully recovered, let's say, even after 2 days. But
no, I definitely haven't. My voice is still gone.
I wouldn't say my voice is gone, but I'd say I still haven't actually caught up on any of the sleep that I completely lost out on. But, you know, I'm feeling good. And this game, I wouldn't say it's a nothing game. Obviously, every game means something. But this is one of those games where, you know, if we lost, not the end of the world. If we win, not the end of the world. If we draw, not the end of the world. Probably for both teams, really. I think that they're pretty cemented in their third position in the league. Let me check that actually. How many points have they got to play with? Oh no, they're sixth. They need a win actually.
Yeah, see, I think it's a bit of a weird game because, like, in terms of the league, it is actually a really important game because obviously they need to win to keep up that Champions League. I think if they win, I think they do go back to third. I believe.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they go above Newcastle again.
Yeah, and then
they're actually a game behind everyone else as well. So if they win, they're third on merit, not on playing more games.
Yeah. And
then again, though, for us, if we win, that puts us at 48 points.
Well, see, this is the other thing: is that, like, I mean, it's a very outside chance. I think we're 6 points behind 8th place at the moment, aren't we?
To be fair, for me, I'm not looking at it we could get Europe through the league. I'm looking at it on, I want to beat that 49 points. I want to hit 50 for the first time. That's more of how I'm looking at it. I don't really care about getting Europe through the league. I want to hit that 50 points.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look. So we're on 45 then. So we only need 5 points from the last 4 to get. You know what? To be fair, like, not necessarily relevant to this, but like, you know, I think we'll get a result, to be honest, on Monday. And I also think you look at the teams we're playing. I think we'll get a result against Spurs. I really do. I know we don't get much joy there, but look at the way they're playing in the league at the moment. And then even then, I wonder whether Liverpool are even going to be at full throttle, especially if we're playing for something on that final day. Wolves playing well, but again, they don't really have anything to play for, but they are on very good form. So.
And, you know, Liverpool have won the league officially now. They can't lose it. They're so far away. Yes, it's Liverpool. Even their B team is a good team. But there is a possibility that we could go up there and do something if it comes to it, really. We've done it last season under Glasner, so why could we do it again?
No, I totally agree.
And especially at that point, we would know what the result is of the and, you know, how funny would it be to go up there, just hypothetically, how funny would it be to go up there, they're singing about, oh, we won the league, and then all the Palace fans have got their little FA Cups.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Champions of England. But yeah, we'll see. And also as well, we'll probably know we'll probably have a very good idea of the race for 8th as well, really, because going into that final day, it could very well just be down to 2 teams. It could be,
Yeah.
there could be multiple teams still in it.
I mean, to be fair, we're not completely out of it. Like, if Fulham drops some stinkers, Brighton, well, the Brighton, isn't it? Like, it's not impossible, but it's not very possible. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the league kind of got away from us when we bottled that game against Everton.
Yes.
When they turned up, they looked absolutely knackered from playing the postponed Merseyside derby. I'm pretty sure they got a result as well. I'm pretty sure they got a draw, and they turned up to us and they looked so leggy, and we completely bottled it. And if I remember correctly, both goals they scored were completely our fault.
To be fair, I would probably more say the Southampton 1-1 was the point where I said, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I'm trying to think, because that's, and also it's mad, really, because what was the game after Southampton? Did it go straight into the Man City game after? I can't remember now.
After Southampton was Brighton, where we beat them 2-1 with 9 men.
Right,
and then it was
yeah.
City.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and you just look at those drop points here and there.
I mean, to be fair, against Manchester City, I said it. I said it on the thing that I did yesterday. I said that genuinely we were a leg, or Eze was a leg off of going 3-0 up at Man City, and we probably would have won that game if we went 3 up.
Well, see, this is the other thing. I think that's where I guess this is a question for our end of year TACT-EAGLE, but you look at the amount of chances we've missed this season, even if we put half of those away. Because I don't know what. Actually, that's a good question. Because I don't know where we are at the moment. Because last time I checked, we had the worst conversion rate in the league. I would imagine we still do.
I remember Eze.
Yeah.
I remember Eze missing quite a few chances. Let me see what his XG is.
Well, ours is minus 10.3. So basically, we've created 51.3 XG, but we've only scored 41 goals.
Okay, so in the league, Eze has got a 8 XG and he scored 4 goals.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. And if we're, for example, and it's as silly as the things like, the first day against Brentford, that goal getting disallowed for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's things like that, and I just think we haven't been consistently ruthless. Yeah. Wait, hang on. We haven't been consistently ruthlessness enough. No, I don't know.
I think ruthless enough in front of goal.
Yeah, we've not been. That's it. Good. Yeah, we've not been. We've not been. We've not been ruthless enough in goal, in front of goal, and I think that's for me personally. That's the reason why we're not in the European places.
Chairman's got a good one here. What's SAR's XG?
I'm just having a quick look now.
SAR's XG is
he'll get
8 XG, 7 goals.
So in fact, actually, let's have a look. So the only players, right, I've got here who have gone over their XG is Mateta. Okay, fair enough. Trevor Chalobah.
He don't play for us anymore.
Yeah, Mark Gay, another centre back.
And Chris
the boy wonder, Matthias França, Romain Eze. But this is the thing. All of those players are all low.
Apart from Chalobah, he got 3 goals, didn't he, in his little time here?
Well, Gay's got 3 goals this season as well in the league. This is, and then the only other player is Justin Devaney. But again, of those 6 people, only 3 of them have got a singular goal. So it's very low. Do you know what I mean? It's very low sample size. So.
All right, let's go into some comments. Big up the dog. Tactical matchup against City is interesting because our central centre back will have to shift because of City's 2 players in each channel. We'll talk about it in that upcoming TACT-EAGLE, but big up yourself anyway. Big up Chairman saying he still doesn't recover. Big up Rich saying he's still buzzing. How much would it cost for a TIFO in each tier of Wembley? It will cost about 100k. It will cost so much money. To be fair, they've raised a lot of money. I think they've already hit their goal, haven't they, of 20,000? And it was only been a few days.
So. Yeah, I think so. And I know, again, I know Chris Richards donated as well.
Yeah, I think Hendo as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, they're buying into it. I know it's not a lot of money for them, but they're definitely buying into it.
Oh, 100%. And they're doing it. And even the first time they did it, it was like off their own back. I don't think anyone told them to do it. I think they just went, why not?
Yeah. No, 100%.
And Dog says, did you see Glasner's podcast? I watched it today at work. I listened to it today at work. Dan, if you haven't, I would.
Is it the one on
High Performance?
Yeah. I've watched a lot of the older ones, but not this one specifically.
Yeah, I would watch it. It's really interesting to see how good of a man manager he is, and that he's not trying, that he's always trying to. I think the main thing that I took away from that podcast is he said that he wants to create a learning environment and he wants to make people express themselves to show the skills that they have. And if they make mistakes, you're human. I just want to see that you're able to have the confidence to make those mistakes. Because then then he says, when I see that, then I can mold you into a great player. So just stuff like that just makes you think, how the hell do we get so lucky to get this guy?
No, absolutely.
Big up Rexy, nothing made me happier than Brighton getting 8th, us taking Europe away from them by winning the FA Cup.
No, that would be funny.
Podcast was incredible. It was 2-2. It was definitely 2-1.
I was for the Merseyside derby.
Yeah. Big up John. All the teams have taken players were targeting Benrahma, Digne, Gibbs White, and a lot of players still stuck to what we are doing best, and we are getting the result. I like how we're sticking to, I guess, our roots a little bit by getting, like, obviously you're getting your international players, but you're still getting the core of your team being like South London players like Eze, Nketiah, Mark, Klein, people like that.
You know, I genuinely think that, I know I've talked about how I think Dougie was a very good scouter of personalities. I think that's all very on purpose.
Big up Alex. Doing this during the Arsenal PSG game was a choice. It's supposed to be some game.
I think it kicks off at 8, doesn't it?
Boom, 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 buzzing. Love that Brighton have to be the only losers cheering us on, cheering against us. I actually saw Brighton fans saying, rivalries aside, I want Palace to win. I was like, who the hell are you?
Yeah, I saw. I think it was a screenshot of a TikTok, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
But yeah, pretty much every single person I'm seeing in the whole league is saying we want Palace to win, apart from Manchester City. Everyone wants us to win. And you know what that means? We're going to lose. Last one here from John. Dougie left us some targets for the club already. I reckon he has. I reckon he's got a nice little spreadsheet and said, look, here's my plan. Here's what I was going to do before Newcastle took me to Saudi.
Yeah. I think as well, like, I think a lot of the players who have been profiled and like the scouting and like a lot of this probably would have been done like when he was still here as well. That's the other thing. Like, it takes a long time to get some of those things sorted and get feelers out. But yeah.
Cool. That has been the longest intro to a TACT-EAGLE ever, and that's probably because we don't actually have too much to say today.
No, we really don't. We were talking about it before. We really don't.
All right. Let's get into the predicted 11. First up, we have to talk about injuries. As always, Chadi Riyad out till 2026. Chet Decore out until the end of the season. And Dan, I'm sorry to tell you this, but Matt Turner cannot play against his lone club.
No.
Moving on to Nottingham Forest. Eric De Silva Moreira. Don't know who he is. Is injured.
Oh, I looked him up. He's played a little bit at the beginning of the season, I think. He's just a young right back.
And Ola Aina, but it does say he will be returning for the game against Brentford on Thursday. They are playing this week. They are playing on Thursday against Brentford, and he is apparently fit for that game. So I think he's going to be playing against us.
Probably.
So let's go into my predicted lineups. We'll start with us, obviously. I've gone with Hendo, Mitchell, Gay, Lacroix, Richards, Munoz. I've gone back with Hughes. Kamada's been great in the cup, but I think for this game, we're going to need a little bit more physicality with Will Hughes and Adam Wharton, with Ebbs on the left, Mateta up top, and Ismail Assar on the right. Dan, thoughts on the Palace team?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. The only thing you could argue, I suppose, I know he's been favouring Kamada, and there was no reason to drop him. He played well against Villa, so there's a potential he could stick with him. But either or, I'm happy with, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to Nottingham Forest. So they played very, very differently against Manchester City, and I think they realised that in the first half, which is why Nuno made the changes he did at halftime. I think he realised, I don't know why I'm changing my whole setup to play against these guys when playing their normal game actually worked out a hell of a lot better at Wembley for them. A little bit like what Vieira did. He just lost his head and did a madness against Chelsea, and then we saw what happened. And in a funny way, that sort of happened to Forest as well. But when they actually changed and they went back to what they normally do, they do play a 4-3-3, but they play it in a little bit more of a advanced way. They've got their back four with their one DM, but that one DM can switch into two at any point in time, with Danilo and Anderson being the two that will drop in, and then what's his name? Gibbs White. He'll be the one that will be the sole 10 to do this stuff. But while they're dominating the game, they will set up a little bit more like this, with Anderson a bit more advanced because he's really good on the ball. 2 10s, but one of these 10s is more of an 8, so they can do the drop back part and the going forward part. Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left, Alanga on the right, and Chris Wood up top. Also, probably the best keeper in the league this season as well in goal with Sells. Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that team picks itself, really. They haven't had loads of injuries this season. Could maybe say Dominguez instead of Danilo. If Aina doesn't play, then you probably could put Nico Williams in there. Not Nico Williams. And yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. A few more comments. Interesting about learning environment, because if it's true, Ebue should be shining from the start. You haven't spoken about him for how long? For how long? And now look at you. Gone back to your ex. Forgot Turner was a Forest player. Wait, mate, be sad. Wait, who would our bench keeper be? It would be Remy, right?
It will be Remy.
It will be Remy. Actually, no, I hope he does, because if he gets minutes, Nintendo's injured. Oh, God.
This was me when finding out that Matt Turner news. Is it going to work? No!
Oh, no. I'm so scared.
Yeah, sorry, Real Zill.
Why'd you have to rip on the American? Wow, Chris Richards is amazing.
Yeah, to be fair.
His mate's not.
When he does a good tackle at a game, or he does something good, I always shout, USA, USA.
Yeah. I mean, I heard someone in the back going, America, yeah.
I reckon that's got to get done. Chris Richards, yeah. Nah.
I think you know what I'm gonna say, but I can't say it on stream because it's a bit, it's a bit.
A bit what?
I will private chat you.
I don't know what you're gonna say, so
There you go.
oh yeah, fair enough.
It is, isn't it?
Fair enough.
On the bench, he'll be our secret agent. I saw Rodri and Haaland posted a photo in training. We do not speak about this. Real Zeal, laughing. Owen Goodman for second keeper next season.
He got league. Oh, what league are they in now? Is it League One?
League Two.
In League Two.
Yeah, I think League Two and Whitworth's in League One, isn't he?
Yeah. League Two. He got put goalkeeper of the season in League Two.
To be fair, I think both of them, him and Whitworth, will get another loans. I think Whitworth will get either a promotion team League One loan or a mid-table champ loan, and then I'm sure Goodman will go up a league as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we'll probably look to loan another keeper, whether it's Turner again or whatever. I don't know, but I think them two. I think them two are young enough that they can afford.
Why do I think that Turner you can get him on a free at the end of the year?
Mate, might very well be that. I mean, to be honest, I don't mind him as a number 2, provided Dean Henson doesn't get injured.
Signed a 4-year deal at Nottingham Forest. When did he sign it? Oh, he signed it in 2023. So he's you get him for free in next year. Which then again, though, a year left in his contract. They probably let him go for 2-3 million.
Yeah,
they didn't buy him for very much. The Dog said they played over 2-4, 2-2, and then in possession is 4-4-2. Aina is injured. If you look at preminjuries.com, he's back for the Brentford game, which is on Thursday. So that's what I'm going off of. They'll both go back out on loan. He is not that short, but he is not that much taller than me.
I'm pretty sure he's the same height as Julian Speroni.
There you go.
I think.
Come on, dude. My ex liked the Chiefs in American football. I can't go back to that. I don't know anything about American football, so that's just words to me, unfortunately. Animals unprecedented to have a small keeper. Just very, 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 very rare. Okay, let's get into some attacking football. That's some defensive football. This is football. So, Nottingham Forest, what kind of team are they? They love to play against a little bit of the high line. Let's say a little bit of the high line. They love a little bit of high line. So, what do they love about the high line? All the space to run into. Why are they good against a high line? Because when they are out of possession, as it was said a little bit earlier, I think by Pat or the Dog, I can't remember, but one use basically said they like to defend in a 4-4-2, which is correct. You'd normally see it a little bit more like this. You got your wide players tucking in, you got all these guys doing this. But why, you might be thinking, bro, why are you talking about how they defend when you talk about their attack? I'll tell you why. It's a pressing game for them. They like to press the ball. If we're building the ball up from back here, they want to try and press us up here, and they want to try and cut off all the passing lanes out for us by packing out the midfield as much as possible. But what do they like to do when they turn over the ball? I will even get the arrow out for this one. Are you ready for this, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
If Anderson wins the ball off of a pass from Wharton to Mateta, what will he do? Bosh. And what will happen? Bosh. Fast players will do this, and then they cross, and then they shoot. Do you know what that is, Dan? It's called a transition team. Yeah. Yeah, that's. I'm not going to say that's pretty much it, but it kind of is. Forest are a team that they have their attackers. They have a certain amount of people that they want to go forwards and they want to utilize those players when moving forwards and moving up the pitch. That is Elanga, that is Chris Wood, that is Hudson Odoi, that is Gibbs White, and a fullback for wherever the ball is. For example, if the ball is over on this side and Elanga's got the ball, you will see the rest of these guys. So, you'll see Gibbs White, you see Wood, and what you will see. Pause, just in case. In the gutter, that is what you are. But what you will see if the ball is on this side, you will see the fullback of this side advance as well. Which means basically when they're going forwards, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers, and they're leaving back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders plus the goalkeeper. This is basically what they like to do. They like to build up the ball very quickly, route one, and very quick link up play. So you will see let's say Eze tries to run at Milinkovic. Milinkovic dispossesses him. What's going to happen here? You're going to see Wood. You're going to see Wood trying to make a run in here because he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's very good in the end at picking up space within the box. So he's going to be advancing to try and find an area in here. He scored every single goal this season within the penalty area, which isn't a surprise to anyone. He has outscored his XG outstandingly, I would say. So, big ups to him. His XG this year is 111.11. He scored 19 goals, so he's outscoring it amazingly, really. So he's having a really good season. So if he's got the ball in here and he's got a touch or he's got the ball to feet here, probably 9 times out of 10 is a goal. So he's going to be very lethal here, but you'll have a lot of different options here. So you have Hudson Odoi, Elanga, and Wood running in behind, but you'll see Gibbs White coming to feet, and then you'll also see the fullback of that side either moving on the inside as a come to feet moment, or he'll be running in behind as well with the players. But what you will see is you will see them trying to break the line with their passing. So if we've got our players like this, trying to get back and defend it, very, very much you will see a pass from Milenkovic to go past Gibbs White straight to Wood here. So you're literally cutting out that line and you're cutting out this line because he's picking the ball up in the pocket here. While that happens, you'll see Gibbs White running forwards, the ball get laid back, Wood will spin him, you have Elanga running in here, you have Hudson Odoi in here, so he's got loads of options and it'll just be bang bang. Very quick, one-touch football. They're very lethal on this as well because they've got a lot of pace, a lot of technical ability. Their passing is actually really underrated, I think, as well. I think even though they're making these really highly risky passes, they've averaged 80% pass accuracy throughout the whole season, which is outstanding for making line-breaking passes as much as they do. They're not afraid to shoot. And to be fair, they're really good at set pieces as well. They've got a lot of different set piece routines. They're very lethal on the break, but by being lethal on the break, they are also very susceptible to being broken against. Final thing to really say, they do like to shoot. They've registered one of the most shots taken in the whole league. Anything else, Dan? Because that's really about it. Very quick build up, transitions, and ball up front.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking as well. And just to add to Chris Woods' over performance in XG, if you actually look at the XG of the league, Forest actually ranked 5th bottom, but they've managed to outscore it by 12.5. So they've created an XG of 39.5 in their 33 games, and they've scored 52 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Just to put that in perspective, right? That's such a big overperformance. So if we did that, so if we had that swing, we would probably be in the Champions League spots. So that you know, that's.
But I don't know. It made me really confused in why Nuno tried to play a more defensive, more possession style game against Manchester City, because they are very weak to pace, and that's what they have. Like they utilize their pace so well, and I was really surprised that Elanga didn't start against them. The second he came on, he should have scored with his first touch. He could have Elanga could have had a hat trick in that second half alone. And to be fair, they were a bit unlucky. They could have scored a lot more goals, or they could have scored a load of goals. They hit the post 3 times.
Yeah,
one crossbar, 2 posts. But
gives us hope.
It gives us hope because City are beatable. But it also makes me look at how they are and just reminds you that they are such a lethal team on that break. So we're going to have to, if we want anything out of this game, we're going to need to be on top of our game. And also for them, they're going to need to win this game so they can keep their Champions League hopes alive.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Animal here says, bet extra leap like a gorilla.
We're not starting that debate on here. Not the one from Twitter.
Done.
But let's be honest, a gorilla would beat 100 people. Let's be honest.
Because the thing is I said, do you have weapons, or is it just
I assumed no weapons, and let's be honest.
If it's no weapons, the gorilla's smoking everyone. Let's be real.
A gorilla, if it wanted to, could one bang everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in one go, but obviously.
And to be fair, do you think you could box the gorilla and you think that will hurt it? Hell no.
Of course not. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I tell you what would happen. You'd have some nutters that will try and spark it. The gorilla would one bang them, and all the other 90 people are running the other way. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, probably. There'll be
because I'll be one of the ones running. I'm gone.
I'm gone.
I'm not even watching the first 10 get mashed up. I'm gone.
Excuse me, mate. I want to live here.
Exactly. Arsenal aren't even displaying a tifo. They're displaying a banner of the Gunner symbol. This is so plain. Lemon and Herb Football Club. Yeah. How did PSG fans sneak a drum in and we got banned for doing so?
Do you know why? Because they've got, and also they've got 3 or however many ultras they got there. Do the police and the stewards really want 3,000 ultras to kick off when they're going back to France, in a couple tomorrow? Do you know what I mean? It's not really worth it, I don't think, for them in their minds. But it is what it is.
All right, Kurt Zuma, what's wrong with you?
City Team Cat. Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing.
I don't know. You said cat, football, Kurt Zuma, Bosch. Not Bosch.
Bosch. Bang.
Let's get into some defense.
Right. So for you guys today, I'm not going to lie, there's really not a lot of things I can say about, people doing a low block without repeating a lot of the things that I've said before. So I decided to do a few graphs for you guys today.
Graphs.
Ooh. So this is an XG versus XGA graph. So basically, any of these coloured in areas, right? That's either a positive XG difference or a negative XG. So blue is positive, red is negative.
Is this for us or Forest, quickly?
Forest. This is Forest, sorry. All these graphs are for Forest. So in the beginning, they were generating positive things. The occasional one that was negative, but and then positive. But you know what? I think, right, and this is something that the reason why I did this because I had this kind of nagging feeling in my head. I think they have kind of dropped off a little bit, in my honest opinion. I think they are maybe getting a bit tired. And I don't know if maybe there was an issue with obviously like they didn't want to get injured for the semi-final. That is probably what the case is. But I just feel like what's happened there? I just feel like in this sort of time here, so what's that? Since game week 25, I think I don't think it's quite 24. Game week 25, they've only actually created a positive XG expected goals difference once in those games. And
What was game week 29? Let me have a look.
I think it was against. Oh yeah, it was against Ipswich. So I think the games were Everton. So bear in mind, it's Everton, Villa. I can't remember which way round it is. I think it was Spurs, Everton, Villa. Then it was Ipswich, and then I can't remember who it was after that. Before that,
no, they beat City 1-0 before that.
Beat City, and then so like it's all fine and dandy, right? You know, winning the games. That's obviously that is the most important stat at the end of the day. But it's very, very rare that a team will continue to produce these kind of stats and continue winning. That is that's an extremely rare thing to happen. So bear that in mind, okay? Whoa, can you see that?
Yeah.
Is that really weird or?
Yeah, it's like loads of.
Okay, why is it doing that?
It looks like the Throng if you've seen it on
right.
Black Mirror.
I think if I go out of it, then it's all right. So one thing I wondered, right? Okay, actually, let's go to possession. So one thing I wondered, because obviously there's a well-known stat that they've got the lowest average possession of any team in the league, which is true. They do have the lowest average possession of team in the league. Now I wondered, is this, does this therefore mean if we let them have the ball, they will do worse? Not really, is what I found. Like I couldn't really see a correlation between possession and expected goals. I could not see. I could not see that in there. Whether it's because they take a lead and then they just let the other team have it, it could be that. I don't know, but it doesn't. There doesn't seem to be. It wouldn't be a case of let them have it and then let them try and break us down, as opposed to that. I don't think that necessarily is the fix-all scenario there. So then I looked at if there was, say, a correlation between the possession that they have and the average XG of chance that they concede. And again, the answer was no, not really. But one thing I did notice was that in the games that they play worse in, they on average concede worse chances, which tells me, it might sound really obvious actually, but what I think happens therefore is that because when you get to like these kind of levels, like up here, right, the game is for them is very open. And when you're like down here, the game is very close. So effectively what I'm saying is like when they're in positive expected goals, they're kind of closing the game out most of the time. It's a very closed and boring game in that sense, in terms of like the other team's opportunities. But then if they're doing worse, let's say, generally it tends to be a more open game. Mm-hmm. And this is definitely the case and it's interesting because the way that they play in an attacking sense, I think very much feeds into the way that they defend. So you look at this, right? They're about to lose the ball here. So Elliot Anderson, I can't remember exactly what happened. I think he slipped over, but they lose the ball here. But the thing is, okay, Everton have won the ball there, right? But the problem is, because of the way Forest build up, in this kind of, when they're not trying to hit you on the counter, when they're building up a bit slower, okay, that even if let's say Anderson's out of it because he's fallen over. Okay, that's one Everton player, two Everton player, right? But then there's four, you've automatically got 2v1s on both of them. And the thing is, you could say, okay, but what if Everton react quickly? Okay, yes, they could. But then even if right, they get this player forward and they get this player forward, Williams, and I can't remember who that is.
I think
They're
that's Buffalo,
fullbacks.
isn't it, on the left?
I think so, yeah. So Toffolo and Williams, they both got a run on these players here to try and get back. So that's why they're so difficult to play against sometimes, because even if you do win these balls in these areas, there's so many of their players in this area that it's very difficult to meaningfully turn it over. But I think there was some interesting ways that you could kind of beat them in that sort of transition. Right, cool. You can still see that. So
I've just seen a thing on my Twitter saying that people are watching Eze play chess. What?
Eze play chess. Okay.
Oh,
I didn't know that was a thing.
not lying. There's a live stream on chess.com and Eze sitting there playing chess.
I'm not gonna lie. I did not know. I didn't know he played chess.
I don't know. Well, he's losing right now, so
maybe he's playing. What's his name? I don't know. Can't remember the guy's name.
I don't know.
Magnus Carlsen. That's it.
No, he's playing some.
Just a random kid.
Yeah, I've got no idea who that is. Sambusha? No idea.
Sambusha? No, that's not a name I know.
White
right, anyway. The ball comes in, right? And Everton managed to win the ball here, okay? Now, I think it was kind of lucky how it happened. But that said, they do win the ball there and they managed to pop it out here very, very quickly. And this player comes over and then this player spins, right? So as soon as that happens, right, so like I said, the ball comes out here. I think that's Beto. Beto receives that ball. Now, Forest defend very aggressively, hence why, let me re-explain that. If you're facing your own goal like Beto is, right, he's facing his own goal, Forest will absolutely come up and face you from behind, okay? And I tried to say it the best way without it sounding like a pause. And you can see already, for example, 19, again, ready to go to this player here. But I think importantly, what Beto does, rather than stalling on the ball and letting Murillo kind of get into his face and then allowing Forest defence to get back, right, he just pops it off very quickly. So into this player here, I can't remember who that is, but this player here continues his run. This player here is also continuing their run. Pops it off, and then suddenly, for a very brief time, they've actually got arguably a 4v3, which doesn't happen very often against Forest, like I said earlier. And all it's come from, and again, admittedly, it was quite lucky because that pass wasn't actually a pass, it was a tackle. But, if that was, say, a Will Hughes or a Daichi Kamada, maybe they could pop that ball in diagonal into that space. Because that's what Forest tend to do. Forest tend to face up and leave a gap in the middle and then kind of rely on Forest defenders to really, really aggressively get into them if they're facing their own goal. And then that's a situation that develops. Now, Everton, I think, did make a chance from it, although I think they did it quite fortunately. But, if you play your cards right here, potentially like a good pass there, let's say that is, I don't know, Mateta or someone. That's Mateta. That could be Ebbs. Or even let's say that's Mateta. That's Ebbs. That's Mitchell. Okay. Bear with me there. And then that's perhaps Sarr running in behind. Or, I think what all those players have done are more than capable. I think Mateta is certainly capable of doing that. And then running on there, certainly I think that could be Ebbs. And then this player making the third run here, again, that could be Mitchell. And then this player here, I think, could very well be Sarr. You play your cards right there. You play that pass. And then if you're quick enough and smart enough, you make that pass across. And then potentially you get a good opportunity there. Now, don't get me wrong. These chances are going to be difficult to come by because Forest do I think they're wait, actually, I've got it here. So they're six. So I think they are. Sorry, I didn't write it down. they rank 4th in the league for the amount of expected goals against this season. So, you know, these opportunities aren't going to be necessarily easy to come by. I just want to see what this, I can't remember what that was, but I want to show you what their pressing shape is, because I think it also kind of demonstrates how they generally defend. So this is a normal pressing shape, right? So Everton got the ball over here, pass it to Brantford. They've then brought it over to this player here. Now, this is pretty much always what happens. Like, Forest will allow this kind of situation. They want you to pass it back to the goalkeeper. They basically want you to pass it between your 2 centre-backs and then not really do anything. You could argue, yes, should you pass it there? Perhaps. But then this player's being watched. And then you'll see as well, like down here, it's a kind of similar situation for the left-back. But I do think it's quite easy to play out, in my opinion. So, like, if they've got Brantford here, and this player's coming up to face them, but I do think that you can just play little passes off of them. Like, I don't know, let's say like Mitchell's here. Okay, yeah, even if he's being watched by someone, all it takes is a pass in there, and then a bit of movement here, and then a pass to there, and then suddenly you turn it, and you can see 4 players.
You can see that simple move being done even easier with our back 5, really. Because we've been able to stretch them even further. And you can see that. So let's say that's Mark passing out to Mitchell.
Yeah, this is Mark, Lacroix.
Let's say that's Mark passing down to Mitchell. And then that Everton midfielder in there is Wharton. So you've added like a hell of a lot more passing quality. And then he could pick out Sarr on the other side of the pitch.
Yeah,
very easily.
Absolutely. And even let's say that was Wharton, and that is that would be, say, Hughes or Kamada getting marked or whatever. I mean, to be fair, Kamada would actually be out there because obviously, like, that player tends to move outside on build-up sometimes. But then, so I mean, this is in die obviously in this game, but that could very well be Ebbs there. Do you know what I mean? Like, that could be Ebbs receipt. You know, pass that ball there. You know, pass that in space. You know, how many times have we seen Ebbs do that just little turn there, and then suddenly, like I said,
shoulder and he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, is that what he does? Oh, I can't remember. But in the end, what happens?
He's won his chess game.
Oh, is he? Well, but in the end, they pass it back because it's Everton. They don't really have a lot going forwards, and then they just lump it long, which I thought was a shame because I do think it is exploitable. And I think actually, I'm hoping that the other set of screenshots I've got shows a better example of that getting exploited. So is it that? No, it's not. But it kind of also shows another thing that I wanted to talk about. Let's go back. Just also go back to that pressing shape, right? What's going on here? Whoops, sorry, I don't know what happened there. That was an accident. So let me go back to this one here. So let's say go that back pressing shape, right? So even there, let's say Thingy's got the ball here. When that player was running towards him, actually, let's get the actual one, shall we? When that player's running there, I think they are also susceptible to that ball as well, just that diagonal into there, which again, I think our players are capable of making. And for me, I think in certain times on the pitch, I do think they are quite susceptible to that. Normally, they do cover it very well. Like when they force you out wide, they do tend to cover that quite well. But sometimes I feel like their pressure isn't quite on the beat enough. And then suddenly, you know, they are susceptible to it. So again, this kind of shows like the way they defend it is very man-to-man. This player's on here, this player's on here, this player's on there, this player's on there, so on and so forth. So effectively, like, you know, if that player receives a ball in there, this player is going to really come up behind them, and make their life very, very, very difficult, right? And the same here. And they got man-to-man like Jota or Silva, what his name is on number 19, who Grealish. I think is their left back. Yeah, Grealish Silva, Portuguese Grealish. But they pass the ball here. They aren't quite aggressive enough with it, but this is what I'm saying. They do try to block these lanes. But problem is that in the next one, you see this player is moving. So they got their man, blah, blah, blah. You know, these guys are blocking that passing lane from their respective players. You know, if this player was to run towards them, they pick them up. If he passes there and that player runs down the line, that player picks him up and they'll try and block in this, you know, the thing there. But I think sometimes they're so sucked into their man-to-man that they don't really pick up players. So this player here, right? So Jota is picking up their left-back man-to-man, right? Now, what Njai has done, which again is something that Eze would almost certainly do, is that he's dropped off this line. And again, you've got their back line here, you've got their midfield here. It's quite rigid the way that they set up. There are gaps. There are plenty of gaps in between these lines. And Njai has done that. And then I think Decore's kind of used himself as a bit of a decoy. They fired that pass in there, so I'm saying the diagonal, haven't really covered this lane down here properly. Fired it in, and then credit to him, it's a very good turn. But this player's come flying out here because you'd think that maybe this player would come in and help, perhaps if this player might pick up this player instead. But as I said, because they're so man to man, he's basically stuck on that player, and then Njai turns. And then suddenly you've then got this situation, which again, I don't think it quite comes to fruition for Everton. But, you play your cards right again there. That's another good potential opportunity. And I don't think, that could be Munoz, but I think certainly we'd have, like, say, Sarr up there or something like that. But yeah, I think you get at them and you turn them. And in fact, actually, in terms of shot creating actions, they concede the most shot creating actions that are dribbles in the league. So they are very susceptible to them. And I think this is obvious why. And the thing is, if you do go man to man as well, like I said, like he spun him, right? But he's got no backup. So now he's got no backup. I'm not saying it all falls apart. Obviously it doesn't, because they've defended very well this season, but at the right moments, you can kind of get them to because like this player's got to come out. I know, admittedly, he's not actually man marking a player, but this player's got to come out, or they got to try and make his life a bit difficult. And he's running a goal, so yeah. But to be honest, other than that, the only other things that are maybe worth talking about is that they're just going to sit in their low block like this. Tends to be look something like this. So yeah, sometimes out of possession it's like a 4-4-2. Sometimes it's like a 4-1-4-1. Kind of depends who they're marking. Obviously, this makes it difficult to block, the central progression. This is if, like, let's say we got our double pivot here, and all these players are pushed up, etc. That's what it would kind of look like, and the purpose of it. Actually, that wouldn't be Anderson. Sorry, that would be Gibbs-White. Yeah, and then the only other thing to really say is, as I said, when they get over here, they are going to block this passing lane. They're going to stick someone over here to try and block any progression here. They're going to use a touchline as the extra man. That's kind of it, really. They just defend very well, and because they defend very well, it means that they, it means they're able to counterattack. But then equally, they defend so well because they've always got men back. So, yeah. But to be honest, I think if we're just on it and we're quick and we exploit those diagonal passes, we exploit the press, I think we can beat them, to be honest. And as I say, I don't know whether my observations were based on the fact that they didn't want to get injured for the semi-final. I don't know, but I think they are beatable.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly that when they defend, their centre backs are very aggressive as well. So the second that your turn and you're looking at them, they will come straight out and stand you up. They won't do none of this Van Delegate nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
They'll face you up and they'll make you make a decision.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's good until they come up against someone like Sarr, like Eze, who Sarr could kick the ball by them, he gets taken out as a yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Eze could dribble past him, gets taken out, and that's a yellow. So it's very good until you get someone that's able to utilize and twist that him being aggressive into our favor. So I feel like that could be a pathway for us. I do. But yeah, I think you hit every other nail on the head.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the thing is, like, I guess like being aggressive defensively, you know, it is a gamble because on the one hand, you could win the ball and then, you know, you're starting an attack very quickly, or you know, you leave that space in behind, and if someone does do like some nice one touch football, like we saw in that Everton example, then you know it is a bit squeaky bum time. What I will say as well, though, I do think Milenkovic and Murillo are very, very, very good defenders, and aerially, and also aerially, I think why they're happy for teams to hit them long, and also they seem to be happy to allow teams to cross into the box. I think because I think they feel confident in dealing with the aerial challenges, especially when you got someone like Milenkovic at the back. I mean, he's
Well, yeah, Milenkovic is much better in the air than Murillo, but Murillo's a bit like Mark. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but he's still really good in the air.
yeah. I think the aerial win percentage of Milenkovic was like 75%, whereas like Murillo's was like 66%. Do you know what I mean? Like
So
they're
still good,
both.
but not as good as an elite level aerial ability.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Going on to some score predictions now. So, as always, host will throw themselves straight under that bus. I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw. I would be happy with a 1-1 draw. They would not be happy with a 1-1 draw. I think in a weird way, the Arsenal.
That was a lot louder than I was expecting. I was trying to angle it as well.
Yeah, I could tell. He did a little. He did a little.
Dear.
No, I saw this, and I saw this, and then.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1. I feel like they need this win a lot more than we need it, and in a very Palace way. I feel like that's a way for us to get a result. Like when we don't really need it, but another team is desperate. I feel like that's the perfect time for us to get a result. Also, I think we've been playing really well this last week, like 2 games in a week. Come back against Arsenal, which was really good. Playing really well against Villa at Wembley, and mate, when I go through the comments, you said a mad pause when you was going through the images. Rich picked up on it. If you go up a little bit, you'll see it. But yeah, I'm gonna say 1-1. Dan, what do you think?
Sucked into that man. I didn't even notice that one. I was so focused on trying to say like some other one, I didn't even notice. You know what? I'm actually going to go for a Palace win. Oh. I think, you know, they've got a difficult and important game against Brentford, another team who plays like they do. You know, very much will try and sit back and then try and hit on the counter, or at least will try to, you know, be very transitional with it. So I think that's going to be difficult for them. And then obviously they've got then us on Monday. You know, we're coming off a semi-final win. The only thing I would say really is, would the players be concerned about getting injured for the final? Perhaps.
I think also the Brentford game means a lot as well. If they smash Brentford, then they'll be third again.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like you could also say like, you know, if they lose against Brentford, maybe they would, you know, feel a bit less confident coming into this game. I'm actually going to go for a win. I think we'll win. I don't know if it'll be a pretty win, but I think it will be a win. I'm going to go 1-0 Palace.
Nice. Also, I've just seen Arsenal's TIFO, and it's the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. Have you seen it? Look at that.
No.
Oh.
Is that it?
That's it. A massive gun.
Ashburton Army, eat your heart out. Do you reckon they got moved again? Have they got moved again?
I hope so. I really hope so. I like the song that you made. What was it again? Ashburton Army, taking your seats.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ez plays chess. That Sambusha guy must be another guy that does YouTube.
All right.
Palace should kick Forest while they're down. That's rude. Big up M.Yashin. Ezra did the comeback, and then he got his queen taken. You know what? After I said that, we lost all our viewers, so everyone went and watched it. Oh well. Dan with the biggest pause of the day. Dan, do you want to repeat yourself?
Nah, it's okay.
Okay. Rich says if their starting fullbacks aren't fit, we should run riot. They've got Brentford, so it's the second game in 4 days, so they'll be tired.
Absolutely.
Big up JC with the fresh goalkeeper kit. This is a goalkeeper kit from a few years ago. We still had cinch, like we cinched it from a few years ago. Dan Tootin and JC talking about the you know what when talking about Arsenal. What away game are you planning to go to? I think there's only 2 left: Spurs and Liverpool. I can't make the Liverpool game, but I will be at Spurs.
I might. I can't go to. I'm away for Spurs, but I might go to Liverpool. I'm undecided yet.
Dan could take my ticket for Liverpool then.
Good.
And finally, big up, chill out. Who just says HK. Okay. Dan, is there anything else you want to talk about before we round out today?
No, I think that's everything.
Cool. Guys, thank you very, very much for watching. This is TACT-EAGLE for Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest at Selhurst Park. So, as always, thank you very much. We're playing on Monday, right? Monday evening.
Yeah, Monday, 8
bank
o'clock.
Holiday. It's a bank holiday. Why are we playing at that time?
No, it's not. Oh no, is it a bank holiday? Yeah, it is bank holiday. Yeah, first Monday of May. Yeah.
It's a bank holiday. Then why are we playing so late? Oh well. They just don't want me to sleep. That's all.
Chill out said hi, by the way. Hello, chill out. Big up yourself.
HI. No, we need to thank Dean Henderson for the saves he made at 1-0. Guys, thanks for watching, and as always, up the bloody Palace. Eagles.